Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.
Woo! Welcome back to another special edition of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, and I'm excited. Just got back from big Atlanta, Georgia, baby. Woo! I'll tell you what, it was an amazing event out there with the GSD community. My good friend Ken Johnson, I'll tell you what, he put together an epic event, and it was powerful. It was powerful, and it was powerful. And today we're going to talk about: do you have what it takes to be a keynote speaker? Do you, watching this live right now, special edition of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, have what it takes to be a keynote speaker? Because the one thing we do is we always undervalue what we can do. We always undervalue what we can accomplish. And I'm going to show you that it doesn't matter where you start, but it's what you do or what you have. And I'm going to bring up a special guest, someone dear to my heart. This gentleman was doing good speaking, but he said, you know what, there's another level inside of me. And you're watching this right now, and there's another level inside of you. And as we were getting ready for this amazing epic interview, he's like, I said, well, what did you take away? So we're going to share this. So get out your pen and papers as we start this, because I'll tell you what, this guy's going to drop some value. He's amazing. He speaks on leadership. And after coming to Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, his speaking career just took off. And it wasn't anything that I did, but so many of us, we go to these conferences, we go to these seminars, we take these courses, and we don't take anything away. So let's welcome to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. Woo! The one and only Mr. Tony Pollard. Woo! Welcome on the stage. Let me give you a welcome, my brother. Welcome. Man, dude.
Thank you for having me.
Man. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to have you here. Tony, I gotta just really, well, you know what? I know who you are, but before we get rolling, man, because I'm just on fire today. I'm on cloud nine. Just got from Atlanta, Georgia, one of the biggest stages I've spoken on, besides the military and some other ones. But I'll tell you what, it was a beautiful, great event. And one thing I'll tell you this is you gotta level up. You have to level up how you see yourself. So introduce yourself to the live edition of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, my brother. Woo!
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard Speaks. I'm an inspirational strategist. You know, you got to have that moniker that really sets you apart from everybody. And I work with leaders and teams to help them develop their leadership teams and help them grow. I really love working with people who haven't been trained in leadership to teach them how to be leaders. When I do that and I see that light bulb kick on, it fills my heart, and I know it helps them move forward with their employees to build more cohesive teams and better love and empathy with their team. So I love it. That's what I do.
Dude, and look at you. You can smile more now since Sticker Shock. But I'll tell you, today we titled it, right? Do you have what it takes to be a keynote speaker? Do you have what it takes to be a motivational speaker? And I just love what you've done, Tony. What, your brand is here. And when you come to the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, we help you with your brand, and your brand is Tony Pollard Speaks. And man, you left us a Google review that really just touched my heart, because you had gone to another conference, you had gone to the NSA conference, and you were like, Daniel, I don't know if I want to go and become a speaker. I don't know if I want to. What I heard you say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know if I'm going to get out what I need to get out of Sticker Shock, because I already went to the NSA. That's kind of what I heard you say. Is that right or wrong?
That would be correct. When I've been to a couple of speakers academy, and I've been to a speakers academy with the NSA. I'm in the NSA now as a club member in New Orleans, and I love it. I get a lot from that. But when I get what I got from Sticker Shock that weekend was what I needed at that time, at that moment. And it goes beyond the information you receive. It's the feeling you get, the love you get, and the motivation that I left with that took me back to my house. Shucks, I was doing stuff at the conference that you guys were saying, hey, try this. I was doing it at the conference, and I got 2 leads at the conference just from doing stuff that Steve Warner, one of your speakers, shared. I did it at the conference, and then I went home and did it, and I've been doing it ever since. And I'm getting leads after leads, stuff that wasn't happening before. And that's from attending the NSA conference. So not that the NSA is not worthy information. It's great information. But for me and my learning skill, I needed that at that moment, at that time. And that sticker shock provided that for me.
Well, Tony.
Hey, I love this cup. Daniel, you can get one of these fancy cups. Inspired.
Yeah. But I love what you said, right? It's really being over there and going intentional. One thing that we went, speaking in Atlanta, we took some of our team members over there, and we sold out of books. Awesome. Right? It was just an amazing event, and I thought I kind of gauged it right, but sometimes God just blesses you what you do even more. So we sold out the books. Really, we sold out the books the first day, and I'm on the process of releasing my new book. And I said, well, we got to be intentional this morning because let's take some pre-orders. So we went into the conference the second day being intentional on what we're going to do. So would you say from your experience now, right? How long have you been a professional speaker, Tony?
For me, it's probably been working on this for about 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years.
And I've rebranded twice, and I'm currently rebranding now. But now there's purpose to what I'm doing. And sticker shock really helped with that too. Not that I didn't have purpose and drive before. There's one thing to have purpose, but there's one thing to have a approach to where you want to go. Like I left sticker shock saying, oh, I know where I need to take this to now. And I've started following that path. And by following that path, that's how those leads have opened up to me. That's how more businesses have reached out to me just because I selected a path. I wasn't supposed to be a speaker. Like I'm a guy who was a special needs student in school. I'm very shy. I may not seem shy now, but I'm super shy. My hands will shake. I get the shaky leg when I speak. But it just kind of, it was doors were opened up to me all from failure. So sometimes when you fail in life, you find a way to pick yourself up, or you can just stay in failure. I chose to pick myself up. And by picking myself up, people started reaching out to me. Hey, come and speak to our group, share your experience as a war veteran, share your experience. And that's what developed this love for speaking for me to share out to everybody else. But then I wasn't sure where to take that to. And sticker shock really helped me fill that void, where to take it to. Now I'm in the process of rebranding. I know which way I want to go with this. I know how I want to help leaders be better leaders, and just new managers and supervisors be better managers or supervisors for the future. I have a path that I learned from sticker shock.
Well, it sounds like you're more intentional, kind of like you have that purpose, right?
Definitely.
And I was saying that when the second day we were out of books, I said, well, we could either feel sorry for ourselves but we sold some programs, we sold some tickets to sticker shock, we sold some online programs, but we went in there intentional of what can we do to add value to people. And so many times when we're not intentional about what we're going to do, we just show up kind of just drifting, right? We just show up drifting. And you can't do that if you want to be a keynote speaker. Do you have what it takes to be a keynote speaker? So listen to what Tony Pollard is saying, ladies and gentlemen. You have to have purpose. You have to have intentionality. We went back the next day to Atlanta, and we were intentional in what we were doing, Tony. And we had a very successful day, great day of business, great day of sales. And we have tons of follow-up that we need to do, which is additional revenues. But I say that because you walked in, as you left sticker shock, you're more intentional now. And I love what you said, because I'm going to give you the floor here to speak on that, because there's so many people that are going to watch this on the replay, watch this. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this live, please share it out, because so many stories need to be said. So many stories need to be out there. And listen to what Tony said. The stories of failure. Did you think, who's going to hear my story? Did you ever think, Tony, who wants to hear me speak? Because I think there's so many speakers out there or aspiring speakers that have something of value to deliver, but they're not delivering it. And talk to those people right now who think that maybe their message, their mess, their story isn't going to matter, because you're doing it. And that's just what you said.
I have to tell you, I'm an educator by trade. I didn't want to share my story. The only people I wanted to share it to were the students I taught, because I was a special needs student in school. And I figured if I shared that story, say, if I can do it, you can do it. But I never thought about sharing it to my peers and adults. That was something new to me. And when I failed massively and I said, oh, I can either stay in failure or I can pick myself up. When I chose to pick myself up off the mat and I started doing things to change, and it was simple things like writing my goals down. What do I want to achieve today? What do I want to achieve this week? What do I want to achieve the next month? Those things started happening when I started giving that attention to detail and I started putting purpose for those things that I wanted. They started happening. I didn't want to speak. Who would think that if you knew me personally, you think, oh, we don't want to hear him speak. He's too shy. When I started doing that, doors started opening. You can do it. Everybody has a story to share. I heard so many stories at Sticker Shock that left my heart filled. And I've actually shared some of those stories with, I actually spoke to a women's group in November, and one of the ladies shared a story at Sticker Shock. I was able to share her story about her life and share her name out to these people. I don't know if they're going to reach out to her or not, but I was able to share her story. And here's another speaker that I was able to share her story to, and somebody might reach out to her and hire her to share her story with their group. If you have a story to share, people want to hear it. You got to put it in book form. You got to be willing to share it. You got to be purposeful, and you do have to be intentional. When I started adding intentionality to what I'm doing, things started changing. More doors started opening up. And now I'm on a path. I can feel those doors. I get I get this feedback periodically from businesses that I wasn't expecting before, that I wasn't receiving before, all because I opened the door to allow it to happen. And that really manifested itself when I attended Sticker Shock.
Did y'all hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Tony Pollard got intentional when he realized that somebody needed to hear his story. And this spoke to me one time, Tony. One time I was there getting up from a nap, right? Because I was just tired one day and got up, and I heard something that Eric Thomas said. Because Eric Thomas said this. He goes, man, I'd go to prisons, boom, I'd kill it. I'd go to high schools, boom, I'd kill it. Eric Thomas said, I would show up in church ministries, boom, I'd kill it. But then he goes, I show up to corporate and I didn't feel like I belong. Those are E.T.'s exact words. Because he felt like an imposter in corporate America because everybody knows E.T. He doesn't wear a suit. And he said he had a conversation with the great legendary Les Brown. And Les Brown had a meeting with them, coached them through it, and said, I don't ever want you to say that you don't belong. I don't ever want you to say that you don't belong in corporate. And at that time, E.T., I think he was ranked number 20 in the world. And Les Brown told him this. Tony. He goes, the only reason you're not number one, E.T., the only reason you're not number one, Eric, is because you don't believe it for yourself. You need to know that you can reach people that Tony Robbins can't reach. You need to know that you can reach people that I can't reach. Les Brown told him this. And after Eric Thomas thought about it, he goes, you're right. Because no one's been homeless. No one's been kicked out. I mean, just a story with that. And when I heard that, Tony, I started crying because I said, man, there's Latinos out there, there's Hispanics out there that need to hear Daniel Gomez that I can reach that they can't reach. And I think when that really came alive in me, you know what I said? You know what I declared here about 3 months ago? True. I am the #1 motivational speaker in the world.
I love it.
Because people need to hear what Daniel Gomez has to say, because there's Hispanics, there's Latinos, there's people that are my skin color that need to hear it. And I'll tell you, when I was in Atlanta, I was just amazed at how many people came to me and said, man, it's good to see a Latino out here with these big names. And I was like, God, I heard you. Thank you. And that's what you're saying. Listen to what Tony says. Your message, you're the only message that you're going to hear, that somebody's going to hear. You're the only book that somebody's going to read. And being a keynote speaker, being a professional speaker allows you to do that. Would you say that, Tony?
Oh, definitely. Shucks. When I started writing, I wasn't supposed to write a book either. I wasn't supposed to be speaking on a stage. I wasn't supposed to be writing a book. But when I started writing a book, there was more speeches that came out of that. And I'm going to hold my book up here. Tony Pollard should have never written a full-length book. It wasn't supposed to happen. I had a teacher tell me I was going to dig ditches, but here I've got 2 books, and this is my full-length book, all because I stepped out of my comfort zone and I
You had a teacher tell you what? I want the word said again. You had a teacher that told you what?
Teacher told me, correction, it was a high school counselor said, you had to take these tests to tell you which direction you should go in. She said, I think you'd be a really good ditch digger. No lie. That's a true story. And I said to myself, I will not be a ditch digger. I'll never forget that in my mind. I joined the military, and that led to me going to college. I wasn't supposed to go to college.
You know what? And I'm glad you brought that up because they need to hear this. Somebody out there is watching this live right now. Somebody out there is watching this live, and you had a failure, you had a mistake, and you have labeled yourself or that counselor, like that counselor, and nothing against counselors. I'm not saying all counselors, but I'm just speaking the truth. A counselor told Tony that he was going to be a ditch digger. And you watching this live right now, I want everybody to share that because they need to understand that you're just because a counselor tells you that you're going to be a ditch digger, you're not damaged goods. You're not damaged goods. You're not the failures that you had. You're not the mistakes that you had. I have made tons and tons and tons of mistakes. But still I rise because the mercy of God is with me. And not that I try to mess up on purpose or screw up on purpose, but believe me, I screw up. I do, Tony. But I love that you said that because somebody out there is listening to this. I want you to talk to that person. I'm going to give you the solo floor right now because I want you to speak life into that person. Maybe it wasn't a counselor that said you're going to dig ditches the rest of your life, but somebody out there heard something. Maybe it's their ex-wife, their ex-husband, a big brother, a little sister, a mom or dad that said, you're never going to amount to crap. You're never going to do anything. And that label is on them. And they're stuck in that, label themselves as damaged goods, just the way that counselor told you that all you're going to do is dig ditches. I want you to, this is for all the people out there that their teachers told them just go get a 9 to 5, that your teacher told you you're not going to amount to anything, that the counselor said you're never going to make it in college. Put up that book. Tony Pollard, international best-selling author, driven by the heart, was labeled by a counselor. Like I said, nothing personal against the counselor this morning, but I'm just speaking the truth of what Tony's story is because we need to get these stories out there. He didn't allow that to keep him stuck in that identity. And some people watching this right now, you're stuck in that identity and you need to stop feeling sorry for yourself. And something unlocked in Tony when he came to Sticker Shock Speaking Academy, because it is a secular event. I'm okay with that. But Tony, would you say God shows up?
Oh gosh, that's the biggest takeaway. Other than the information I got that I was able to use as meat, the biggest takeaway is that God shows up. You feel it. I was rejuvenated. And you can call it the baptism for the speaker. I was rejuvenated when I left Sticker Shock, and I came home. My wife said, "Oh, she could see it on my face." I was reinvigorated because you know how it's been the past couple of years with the pandemic and stuff. I was feeling down. I was feeling low. I was thinking maybe I shouldn't have continued to pursue this. And no, I left there. So no, I'm not going to give this up. I put too much time and effort in it. Now I'm just going to put more into it. And that's what I've been doing. And because I did that, and then I left with some tools and some resources to kind of put that together, I've kind of made this web for myself, and I'm just moving on and on and on, creating those links that creating that chain. I'm creating a train. I'm building a train, and I'm adding the cars to it, and I'm going to have my failures. Sometimes the cars are going to unhook, but I know that I can hook those cars back up and keep carrying the load forward. And I'm excited. Look, every day I'm excited.
I'm going to give you a round of applause.
Yes. So.
Yeah, man. I'm going to give you the solo. I want to, because I want to go back to what you said. I want you to speak life into those people that have been labeled by that counselor that said you're going to be a ditch digger. You're not going to amount to anything. I want you to speak to that person right now. Maybe they're divorced. Maybe they labeled themselves as a failure because of a divorce. Maybe they just got fired, right? I remember when me and one of the owners of a dealership got into it, and I felt like a failure. But you can't allow those labels, those words. So Tony, speak life to that person that was in your situation, and share with us too a tidbit of how you got out of that after being told that you're going to be a ditch digger, and now you're an international best-selling author, professional speaker. This guy, he didn't want me to talk about it, but I said, dude, like, I get it, Tony. I know we're going to talk about this too, but this guy's made well over $10,000 since leaving Sticker Shock in September. Am I lying or am I speaking the truth, Tony?
We're good. We're good.
He's bashful. He doesn't want to put his numbers out there, but he allowed me to say 10,000. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to make not hundreds, but thousands as a professional speaker, call me at the bottom right there, 210-663-5954, 210-663-5954. Send me an email. I'll put it here, daniel@danielgomezspeaker.com. I want to hear from you. Tony, talk to that person right now that was labeled like you were, and what did you do to get out of that?
I want you to know that, and I always talk about this, I always talk about CRD, courage, resilience, and discipline. I didn't realize that as a high schooler when that counselor told me, hey, you're going to be a ditch digger, that I said, oh, I may not be able to go to college and play football, even though I was a great athlete, but I can join the Army. So I had to have the courage to step out of my comfort zone and join the military. Then when I got in there, I had to have the resilience because there's a lot of failure and ups and downs in the military. They push you that way, and then you learn discipline. That has carried me through my life. When I got out of the military, I went through a divorce. I had custody of my 3-year-old daughter. Imagine, here, a single father, teaching school, just starting teaching school. I wasn't even supposed to go to college. And I had custody of my daughter, and we made it through that. I got to do everything, all because I started living my life with courage, resilience, and discipline. But here's the thing with living your life fully. Sometimes you have those lulls in life, and I was raising my daughter and I was happy in my job, and you got this nice little paycheck coming in each month. And then something really bad happens. And what happened for me is I was fired from a job, I was demoted from a job, and I just got promoted. How embarrassing was that for me? And then I had to go to a principal's meeting the next week and see all these people who knew I just got fired from that job and demoted. It was at that moment, at that time, that I said, I've got to do something different. I literally started Googling, how do you repair your image on the job? And by doing so, the first book I read was Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog First. I've read over 400 books in the past few years, and I probably hadn't read 400 books in my whole life, all because I started living for myself in courage, resilience, and discipline. When I started living for myself, I was better for my daughter. When I started living for myself, I was better for my wife. When I started living for myself, I got a freaking speaking business that wasn't supposed to happen. None of those things were supposed to happen for me. And I love the job I have. I have a full-time job that I work on now, and then I have my full-time speaking business that I work on. And I love what I do. I wasn't living fully and loving everything I do, but because I work for myself to improve myself at all levels, I am better for everybody on my job and in my speaking business, all because I decided to live fully for myself. Take your failures, take your setbacks, have someone stink you up real bad, and then you look them in the eye and you walk away with a smirky smile on your face and you prove them wrong. That's what you do. That's what I started doing. When I did it that way, things have changed for me completely. And then when I went to Sticker Shock, and now I've said, oh, now I need to do this way. By doing it that way, things have changed for me on this side of the speaking business. And now I'm starting to get clients in that I hadn't had before, all because I've lived life with courage, resilience, and discipline to move forward. And you can too. And the biggest thing is having the courage to take that step and move. You can do it. I did it. You can do it.
You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Pollard, labeled by a counselor that he was all going to do, that all he was going to do in life was dig ditches. That all he was going to do was dig ditches. He was labeled as that. But he refused to allow that label that was put on him in high school. And some of us were still carrying those labels from high school. Let's be honest. Tony, I was naive, and I say the word naive because I thought, well, man, I'll get better in a year, right? All these labels will be gone. What what people don't realize, and I can tell you because just being in Atlanta, speaking on this epic stage and training the United States Air Force. I know when I spoke to the United States Air Force, and there was 300 not airmen, but officers there.
That's awesome.
it's like you're nervous, your nervousness comes out, right? That those insecurities want to creep up, and it's another level of speaking, would you say, when you got in events like that?
Oh, when you speak in front of, like, I've been in the military for a long time. So you not being in the military, I can see the nervousness on your face, probably because I know how hard that is when I speak to businesses, because I'm an educator. I'm in the military. I'm not in business, but I have valuable information that I can provide that business that they're not getting from someone else. And I can share it when I realize that I do have stuff I can give to them and they want the things I have to offer. They seek me out, which is great. And who would have thought that? Teachers think that they don't have anything else to offer. They're delivering great information from the heart. Most teachers do things from the heart because they want to help a student, because they want to help a child. And then when they leave teaching, they don't feel like they have a purpose. That's the same with military people. When you leave that public sector job, but you have something to offer. And now I'm still in this public sector job, and I realize I have so much to offer, so much to give a business and a corporation, that they really want the information I have. They seek me out, and I'm able to give that information to them. And then I leave fulfilled as well. I mean, when you become a speaker, you shucks, your heart gets filled if you deliver the right message, and you can see the smiles on their faces. And they, like you said, they come up to you afterwards, they buy all your books, and that makes you feel great. It's not about the money at that point. It's about, I've helped someone and they're going to take it back with them. That's what I want. That's how I like that rush. And I hate, it's not trying to be cocky. I wasn't looking for those things, but I love that rush you get and that dopamine fix, because you've helped someone and you see it on their face. And you can do that when you're willing to share your story and step out in courage.
Look, you already got a podcast interview. So Tony Pollard, just think about
he's another ball.
So think about this, ladies and gentlemen. You're trying to grow your coaching business. Maybe you're trying to grow your brand. Speaking has allowed me to just do amazing things that I would have never done. I shared the stage with John Maxwell on Friday. I came on about an hour after he did, and man, I'll tell you what, you meet amazing people. We were at the Oscars in 2020, right before COVID, in February, with Demi Moore.
Oh, wow. Speaking
allowed me to do that. So if you're an aspiring speaker, reach out to me, Daniel at danielgomezspeaker.com. And not only that, you get known record. Look at this. Fraser Ramsey right now, they're watching us in Scotland. Tony, you got somebody else watching in Africa. Look at this. Watching from Africa, Zambia. Look at this. So Tony Pollard speaks. That's the power of podcasting. That's the power of speaking. So if you have an aspiring story, you need to come to Sticker Shock Speaking Academy. And I love what Tony said, right? It's more about just adding value to people. But along the way, too, he's made pretty good monies, right? Hey, I'll take making over $10,000 since September. Hey, man, and he's made more than that. But I'm just being silly and humble because I respect his privacy. But Tony, I want you to tell us what are two things, right? Because you were speaking, right? You were doing good, and I asked you before we came on for the live edition. I said, I want you to give the audience, right? Because I'm going to be more intentional on delivering value. What are two things that you really took away from the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy right here above me? What are two things that you really took away that really made a difference for Tony Pollard? For Tony Pollard Speaks, two big takeaways. First of all, you're going to leave invigorated, ready to move forward with your business. But more importantly, that's the most important thing. But more importantly with that, you're going to leave with some tools. Like I left with some marketing tools right away that have really set me up for success that I wasn't expecting. And I left with this great, for the price point, and you leave with a video that you can take back, put on your website, a little reel, a zip reel. And I had other zip reels, but now I left with a quality on-stage zip reel that has helped me tremendously in my process of rebranding. So I left with some tools to market. I left with a zip reel that was spot on, and I left invigorated to really get out there and really work my business. And by doing so, it's really helped me on all levels. It really helps, because usually on the weekends, I'm working on my business. This will be the first weekend I haven't worked on my business in a long time. I just be honest, I took a break and I rested. And sometimes you have to do that.
But every weekend I'm excited. In the evenings I'm excited. I'm working on my business, and I wasn't doing that before. So I left those takeaways. You really got to work it. You got to work it. You got to work it, and enjoy what you're doing while you're doing it.
Well, you said put yourself out there, right? So what Tony said, you have to put yourself out there, and I think that's. I don't think that's. I think that's very, very true. I agree with the statement. That's Tony Pollard's statement, not mine. But I agree with that even more. That in business in general, you have to put your stuff out there in any business. If you're a trainer, if you're a coach, if you're a florist, if you're a massager, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're a marketer, it doesn't matter. If you're a baker, if you want to, it doesn't matter. You have to put yourself out there. Why do you think, Tony? Why do you believe that there's many people out there that don't want to put themselves out there?
Fear. People are scared of failure. They would rather stay in a job that they're miserable in because there's a comfort there than step out. And I always give these little hearts out there, but to step out with their heart and soul, to step out in courage. And once you face that fear with your heart, gosh, and you conquer that and you beat it, then you want to do something else. And that's what's happened to me. Once I stepped out of my fear, saying, "Hey, I did get demoted. I was a failure here." Once I stepped out and I realized I'm going to show you that I can do better, and I started doing better. I started speaking. I started writing. I started educating myself across the board, and my life has been better ever since. And my wife probably gets frustrated sometimes because I'm putting this time out there, but I also know she sees the joy in my face and in my heart when I'm doing it. So she supports me wholeheartedly.
Man, you just got to take action sometimes and overcome that fear.
Take action. That's it.
I believe the biggest lie we see sometimes is, well, you got to conquer fear. What's not the matter of conquering fear? Because right now, every new level we go to, ladies and gentlemen, every new level we go to, there's going to be fear. If there's not a point that you lose a little bit of confidence and that little fear once you set in, you're not growing. You're not. And I can tell you, Tony, just some of the investments that we've made for our business, I was like, well, we're good with what we're making. No, like, you got to put it out there. So tell the audience, what's one thing they can do what's something that you did? Because I think right when we tell it from our perspective, it can relate with the audience out there. What's something that Tony Pollard did to overcome the fear of just not taking action? What did you do for yourself?
The first thing I did, I said, I read that book by Brian Tracy, Eat Your Frog First, your hardest thing. I started doing that. I faced the thing that scared me the most first. Then I literally started journaling. I wrote down 5 goals a day. Now they're 10 goals a day. Now on Sunday, I'm writing down what my plan is for the week, my goals for the day, and my plan for the day, my goals every day, and I do that every day. Do I do this all the time? No, sometimes I miss. But here's the thing, Daniel. Here's the part. When I write those goals down, things happen. The doors open. When I don't do it, they don't happen. Like last week, you hadn't reached out to me. You had told me we were going to do this, and I wrote, "Oh, I'm going to be on Daniel's show." And then I said, I wrote that on Wednesday. You called me on Friday. I'm telling you, it happens. You open those doors for yourself when you put it out there. You put it on paper. You write it down. Things happen for you. Can I share a quote?
Yeah, man, this is your your interview. I really, and something that I'm learning to do even more is I realize I need to celebrate the people around me. I need to celebrate the people that come to our events. And sometimes we get busy with just being busy in business, and it's not good, because even though our business was growing, I said, God, what is it? He goes, we got to build a community now, son. And he goes, you got to celebrate the people and be intentional about the people that are doing amazing. And dude, I'm just like it's just kind of like, and we're about the same age, so no disrespect here, Tony, but it's like a papa seeing his kid go out there, say, touchdown, hell yeah, baby, come on, right? Like, to see you get booked over and over and over and make all this money in keynote speaking for an hour, right? Yeah. I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, I want to drop this thought in your mind, and I'm going to do a little post, Tony, is as a professional keynote speaker, you make more in an hour than most people make in a month. Let me say it again. As a professional speaker, you make more in 1 hour than most people make in a month. And it's not about the money, but think about this. The value that you put out there in the marketplace, the more value you put out there, the more revenue and income you generate for yourself.
And Daniel, I want to add to that. I mean, Daniel, do you just go out and speak? No, you have to study, you have to research, you have to put your speech in a plan and organize it. And how many times have your speeches changed because of that? Because of your audience. I mean, you got to fit it to you want to tool your speech to fit your audience. And that I love doing that research. Like I love doing the research because that makes me say, I'm not only going to give my audience the best talk I can give them, but I'm going to give them some great tools and takeaways, and it's going to be research based. It's not going to be just something I threw together. And you have to do that, and you have to be willing to do that. Do I always practice my speeches? Not necessarily, but I always do the research, and it just comes together. And especially when you're speaking from the heart, it's amazing how you're able to give back so much more. And I get emotional sometimes. I'm an emotional old coach teacher, and I'll get emotional talking. And I know that the audience feels that, and they feel it, and they want to take it back with them. And I know I'm leaving them with something of value at that moment. So I want to share this quote real quick, and I know you're doing it. The secret to happiness is freedom, and the secret to freedom is courage. Thucydide has shared that. So when I started being fulfilled when I started having courage to step out and face my fears fully and completely. And I've run 3 marathons. I do these obstacle course races. None of this stuff I wasn't supposed to do any of this. I'm just supposed to be a guy going fishing and working and then retiring. And I didn't want to, all of a sudden I decided, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are happy, but I wanted more from my life. And now I feel more from my life. And shucks, when it just I get excited because now my wife, I love my wife to death, but she was in this lull for a long time. And when she started living for herself, becoming a fitness trainer and stuff, here, my wife's I call her my cougar because she's a little older than me, but she
Did you say cougar?
Yeah, she looks great. She looks awesome. And she's training these people, these young kids. And then when she comes home, you see this smile on her face. And oh, that was great for me. I know, because you're living your life the way you want it to live. And she's doing it. And now I'm doing it. We're both doing it together. It's just awesome. It's just awesome. So,
yeah, man. Tony, let me ask you this. If someone's thinking they've been on the fence, God's been tugging at their heart to share their story, right? The world needs to hear your story like we have up here for Sticker Shock Speaking Academy. Why should someone come to Sticker Shock Speaking Academy March 11th and 12th here in San Antonio, Texas? Why should somebody come? And actually, we also booked our ones for August 26th and 27th. Why should someone come to San Antonio to Sticker Shock Speaking Academy?
They should come to Sticker Shock Speaking Academy if they want to grow their business. But more importantly, if you want to see the tools that take that key and unlock the door and open your heart, because that's what happened. Not that I wasn't sharing my story, and I was, and it was great. I was getting that feedback, but everybody opens their heart at Sticker Shock, and there's so much emotion. And because you have that emotion and you have those, it's just like winning a game, and you feel that emotion and stuff at the end of the night. On that Friday night, you won the big game. You beat your rival. That's how I left when I left Sticker Shock. We beat our rival, and the rival's within ourselves, but everybody else felt the same way. So I left with those tools, but I left fulfilled, invigorated, ready to get out and tackle the world. And that's what I'm doing.
Boom, baby. Tony Pollard, ladies and gentlemen. Tony, I'll tell you what, put up your book again. Where can, you've added a lot of value today. Where can we find your book? Where can we find your book? And tell us, if somebody wants to connect or book Tony Pollard, how do we get a hold of Tony Pollard? So first of all, where do we get your book, Tony?
You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart. It's available on all 3. If you want to reach out to me, you can do it Tony@TonyPollardSpeaks.com, or you can just go directly to my website, www.TonyPollardSpeaks.com. and I will reach. Now, my website's in transition, but you can still reach me. It's not going to be a problem. So you're going to see some old stuff, and we just haven't opened up the new website yet because when you leave, and Daniel, this is something you gave to me. You got to be willing to, if you want to grow fruit, you got to add some fertilizer. So when I started adding fertilizer, that's really helped me grow fruit. And you and I talked about something the other day. And so I did that. Now I've had two more people reach out to me, and I wasn't expecting that just by adding locations from Gig Salad. So yeah, thanks.
Tony Pollard, ladies and gentlemen, give us a word of wisdom or a quote before we leave today, Tony.
Yeah, I'd like to share this quote again, and it just because we had talked about courage, resilience, and discipline. That's what it's really taken for me to change my life. The secret to happiness is freedom, and the secret to freedom is courage. Please live your life with courage. Stop living in fear. Do the things you want to do. If you dream it, the only way you can achieve it is if you do it and step out. You've got to be willing to step out in courage and do it.
Boom, baby. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Pollard speaks on a live edition of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. He's done amazing. He's done epic. And I'll tell you what, if you've heard Tony's story, he's human just like me and you, but he's doing it. Tony Pollard has made thousands since leaving Sticker Shock in September. He's got booked over and over again because we give you everything you need. Everything you need. And of course, you're the X factor. It depends how bad you want it. But Tony is an amazing gentleman. Reach out to him. If you're an aspiring speaker, if you need somebody needs a word of encouragement right now. I think what really stuck out to me, Tony, about this interview was the fact of what you were saying about just being labeled as a ditch worker for the rest of your life, but you refuse to do that. Somebody needs to hear the words that you said today, all the wisdom that you shared, not just about speaking, but about life. Because there's many people that are stuck right now and can't move forward because they're allowing the labels in. Do you think, before we close out, would you say speaking your story allows you to heal?
Oh, gosh, definitely, because I've struggled with PTSD since Desert Storm off and on for 30 plus years. Anybody that's been in war probably struggles a little bit with PTSD. And by sharing that story, and I always felt uncomfortable sharing it, but by sharing it, other veterans have come up to me, thanks, I needed to hear that. People have done the same type of job that I did and saw death firsthand. They said, oh, I needed to hear that. I've seen that. I've smelt that. And so I realized I'm helping people, and that's really helped me. And it brings joy to my heart to say that I can give back just a little, and just by sharing my story. And people want to hear your story. When I was at Sticker Shock, one of the ladies shared about being molested as a child, and really being able to pick herself up from a teenager or a child and just move on with life and create success for herself. That's amazing. And kids need to hear that. Adults need to hear that, because some people are stuck and they don't know what to do. Job failure, war, divorce. I've experienced it all. But each time it took me willing to step up, be willing to step out of my fear and live with courage. And that's all you have to do.
Well, brother, I love you, man. I'm so proud of you. I got to give you another round of applause here because you have the audience crazy worldwide. Get his book, ladies and gentlemen, Driven by the Heart. If you're an aspiring speaker, after watching this amazing just segment of everything that Tony, all the wisdom that he shared, not my perspectives, but his, and you email me at daniel@danielgomezspeaker.com. I want to help you. I want to help you get your speaking started. Like Tony said, when you come to Sticker Shock, we give you a professional speaker reel that, it's professionally graded. It sells for thousands, but we include that in our platinum package. Very, very affordable. We give you optics on the red carpet, optics on stage. We give you a video testimonial, and Tony can tell you that we do that. And we really set you up to succeed. And not only that, like Tony said, you meet some other amazing, great people, and it's an amazing community and family of people. So we'd love to have you. Email me at daniel@danielgomezspeaker.com, or if you want to call me on the bottom here, 210-663-5954. As you see it scroll through the bottom right there. We'd be honored to have you at March 11th to 12th here in San Antonio. And Tony, why don't you do us a favor if you don't mind, brother? You mind just closing us out in a prayer? Would you be okay with that?
No, I'd be fine with that, because actually, I'm gonna just leave us out with prayer.
That sounds fantastic, brother.
Dear Heavenly Father, blessed to have Daniel have me on his show today. blessed to have people reach out on the show and say, hey, we'd like to have you. It's so nice to be able to share our stories with one another. People want to hear our stories. And I would just like to say, I know a dear friend of mine, his wife passed away this past week, and I know he must be struggling, but he has a podcast of himself, and I know he wants to reach out to people and help people. And he's probably going to go through some stuff for the next few weeks, maybe even longer, until he figures it all out. But I know you're on his side, and it's your name we pray and heal. Amen.
Amen. Amen. That was beautiful, brother. Wow. Woohoo! Well, what a special edition. This was probably, man, epic, epic, epic. Ladies and gentlemen, go to YouTube. We're going to put this episode there live. Share our YouTube out. Go to iTunes. Go to subscribe to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show on Spotify, iHeart, iTunes all over the world. And also go to Amazon, get our book, You Were Born to Fly, because you were born for greatness. It's going to definitely help you grow in that. And Tony, put your book up there, Tony, one more time. All right. Daniel Gomez Inspires and Tony Pollard Speaks. Let me put your branding up there one more time, Tony.
Thank you.
Where's Tony? There he is. Nope. Wrong one. Tony Pollard. This is website. Connect with them. You won't regret it. Until next time on a live edition. God bless you, everybody.
Thank you, Daniel. Have a good day.
This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to DanielGomezInspires.com and get your copy today. That's DanielGomezInspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.